Welcome to Iconic Leadership, the podcast for female entrepreneurs who know they're here to lead, not just build a business. This show is for women stepping into the Alpha Queen era, where leadership becomes identity, power is embodied, and success is created from the inside out. Here, we explore sovereign leadership, expansion, vision, purpose, business, and the inner work that is required to build an empire that fits the woman you are becoming. Strategy matters, but who you are matters more. I'm Carissa Atkins, and this is Iconic Leadership. Welcome to the new standard of the Alpha Queen power. Hey, welcome back to Iconic Leadership Podcast. And this is part 2 of the Diary of a $500,000 Speaker series that I am putting together for you guys. And if you listen to part 1, then you already know that speaking is not about getting on more stages. It's about knowing what to do when you get there. Because here's the truth, ladies. Everybody that I know that comes into my space wants to be a speaker. Everyone wants the microphone. Everyone wants the stage, the spotlight, the amazing photos, right? Everyone wants the hype song and the bio read and I just got paid $10K to speak post, right? Like everybody wants that. Cool. But let me ask you something. When you speak on a stage, do you get clients or do you get compliments? Because those are two very different things. And this is where so many people get stuck, right? They get on a stage, they tell their incredible story, they inspire the room, they get people that clap, people that cry, people that say, "Oh my gosh, that was so good." And then they go home with no leads, no pipeline, no clients. And then they sit there and wonder, what am I doing wrong? More than likely, they're feeling frustrated. They're feeling resentful. Maybe if you paid a lot of money to be on that stage, you're feeling angry that you didn't get, what maybe you were promised or you were expecting something different. And I'll tell you exactly what is actually wrong with this situation. You don't have a talk that converts. You have a talk that performs. And those are not the same thing, ladies, because a performer speaker is focused on being liked, sounding good, getting validation. A converting speaker is focused on moving people in a specific direction, creating an internal decision process for them, and driving them to take action. And if you don't understand the difference, you will constantly stay stuck in the cycle of speaking, applause, nothing. Speaking, applause, high five. Speaking, applause, great job. Speaking, applause, speaking, applause, speaking, applause over and over again. So here in just a minute, we are going to break this down, okay? Because you should be able to turn one keynote talk into a 10, 20, 50,000, even $100,000. Ladies, this is not magic. It has everything to do with structure, it's intention, and it is self-leadership. So let me just quickly back up just a few moments because for some of you, you're like, oh, but I love speaking and I love getting applause. And yes, that's okay if you are a paid keynote speaker, right? There's lots of stages that I go on that I'm paid to be there, $10,000, $20,000 to be there. I speak on the stage, I get my applause, and then off I go, hop on my flight, and there I go. Okay. There's lots of stages that I get paid to be on. And of course that I want a standing ovation, an applause. Oh my God, you did so amazing. Oh my goodness, I want to follow you, right? Of course there are stages like that. But for a lot of coaches and service-based entrepreneurs and heart-led leaders that I work with, they don't just want to speak and get applause and get, oh my gosh, you were so inspirational. They want to speak, they want to get applause, they want to get people signed up into their offers, their lead magnets, their freebies, their email lists, and eventually they want to turn those conversations into sales calls and then into cash flow. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with being a paid keynote, inspirational, motivational speaker. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with being an MC of an event, right? Maybe you're an MC at a gala or something like that, and you're paying to just kind of share a message. You get applause because you're not going there for that. But if you are looking to share your story, to not only share, but also impact and create some income, then these episodes of the Diary of a $500,000 Speaker is perfect for you. So let's go ahead and break it down. Remember, because it's not magic, it's structure and it's intention. Okay. So, first thing you need to understand is that your talk is not the business, it is the front door. If you don't have somewhere to take people, you don't really have a business. You have a TED Talk. And TED Talks don't necessarily pay. Of course, if you're Brene Brown, you can go viral with it and then eventually it'll pay you. But let's look at all of the thousands of TEDx speakers. So many of them speak, get a lot of likes, get a lot of subscribes, but they're not any further along. I mean, I personally can count at least 7 of my girlfriends who have all spoken on a TEDx stage, and they are like not anywhere close to me when it comes to financial revenue and building their business. Right? It's like, great, you got on a TED Talk. Amazing. Is that one of my goals? Sure. But I wouldn't do it if I was looking to necessarily get, go viral or get a tons of clients out of it. So there are different types of stages, yes. But most TED Talks, unless you're amazing, unless you're incredible, are not going to pay you. Okay. It's kind of like you can be an author. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of authors, but there's only a few authors that are ever going to have a best-selling book that's like, I mean, when you think of it, right? There's millions of authors out there, and a handful of them will ever go down in history as like an author to remember. Like think of Harry Potter, think of all of those series that just went gangbusters. They're a legacy. Okay. So same thing with speaking on stages. So many, many people are getting on stage with no offer, no next clear path, no next steps, no pathway. And then they're shocked when nobody buys. Buys what, right? Like that's always my question. Like, what are we here to buy? Where do you want me to go? Like people need direction. And they don't need it in some weird, sly way, right? Like just be open. Like, hey, I have a thing. Scan the QR code if you want it. If not, no big deal, right? And I'm not going to get into detached energy because that's important when we're selling from stage, but that's really not what this podcast episode is about, okay? So if you don't give the offer, the next step, or the pathway, do not be shocked if nobody hops into your email list, if nobody, ends up, booking a sales call with you, don't be shocked. And even deeper than that, some of you do have an incredible offer, but it's not aligned. It's not clear, it is not positioned, and it doesn't feel like a no-brainer. So people feel something in the moment, of course, don't we all, when we hear a really impactful story? But there's a bridge to action. And that's problem number 1. Okay. There's no bridge to action. Problem number 2 is that you don't know how to move the room. Okay. And you need to hear this if this is you. Speaking is not always storytelling. Speaking is an art form, it's leadership. So, yes, your story matters. It's the fastest way for people to build rapport with you, to feel like they can trust you. Like speaking is my number 1 source for lead generation. But if you get on the stage and you just trauma dump all of your shit and you stay in the pain and you cry all over the place and you never really show a transformation or a belief shift or a direction for people to go, you will leave the audience feeling sorry for you or stuck. And they're definitely not feeling empowered. They're feeling very emotional. Right? If you have ever been through some of the trauma that I've been through, guys, is some of the worst a woman could ever go through, in my opinion, right? We've got rape, we've got physical abuse, we've got verbal abuse. I've got so many moments as a child fearing for my life. So there's a lot of stuff that I've gone through in my past. And if I got on stage and just trauma dumped all of that and didn't really give them like a hero's journey at the end, and then didn't tell them that like if I could overcome that, then I can overcome anything. And because of that story, I'm able to do blah, 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 right? Like if I'm not moving the room into an empowered state, what happens is they come up to you and they're like, I am so sorry that happened to you. And they start to feel sorry for you, not empowered. And a powerful speaker does not leave people stuck in their pain because the opposite is true, right? As someone who has been through that trauma, if I'm in an audience listening to someone trauma dump on me, you have no idea if it may trigger me into a whole spiral and then I got to go get therapy again for it, right? So, a powerful speaker, again, does not leave people in their story, in their mess. A powerful speaker leads them out of it. She shows them, here's where I was, here's what shifted, here's what's possible for you. And then she gives them a very clear way to move forward. That's where conversation happens, not necessarily in your story. It's in your leadership ability to guide the room, to lead the room. Okay. So storytelling is absolutely great. And I lead everything that I do with storytelling. I mean, if you go and look at most of my social media posts, they all tell a story. I'm always telling stories here in my podcast. When I'm on stage, I'm always telling multiple stories. It's an art form. I'm a genius at telling stories. Okay. Because they're my stories. I mean, I have no problem getting into the nitty gritty and down and dirty with it all. And I'm very vulnerable when it comes to sharing the highs and the lows of my story. I'm not here to look perfect. I'm not here to look like my life is peachy king and everything is great. I'm here to show you I've gone through the shit, I've burned in the fire, and I've raised up like a phoenix. And this is now why I'm so obsessed with helping women do the same. Right. So we need to lead these people, yes, through story. But when you're on the stage, it's not really about your story because when you're telling your story, ladies, the goal is for the audience to see themselves in your story in some way, shape, or form. Okay. That's why storytelling and speaking is an art form and it's really leadership. So then we have problem number three. And this is where a lot of you probably sabotage yourself. You don't have a lead gen pipeline. So let's just say you actually do your job on stage. We've crafted up your perfect six, what I call a six-figure talk. You've beautifully intertwined your lessons, your stories, your proven methodology. You've even, shared your amazing lead magnet and like everyone takes out the phone and they're snapping that QR code. Like let's just pretend for a moment you've done your job. You've connected, you move people, and they are interested. Now what? The question is do you have a way to capture leads? Are you following up with these people? Are you nurturing relationships? And what does that process look like from start to finish? Because speaking on a stage is the open doorway to your brand, to your business, to your movement that you're leading. So the lead will die if it's not moving forward, right? If you get a brand new cold lead that opts into your newsletter and you're not nurturing them and you're not building relationships with them and you're not building more rapport with them and you're not like physically interacting with them in today's market, you are losing that lead. They die the minute that they enter in their information. They probably aren't even opening up the free ebook or the lead magnet or the thing that you've promised them. Okay. So we don't want to just, capture the lead and wish, hope, and pray that they come and find you. People are busy. People are overwhelmed with all the information these days, especially if they saw you at an event with multiple speakers there. So you cannot just wish, hope, and pray that people will find you later. Hope is not a strategy. Okay. Praying is not a good strategy when it comes to actually moving the leads. Trust me, I'm a prayer woman. I pray all the time, but I'm telling you, I don't go on a stage and say, please, God, let all of these women just flock into my inbox and every single one of them want to pay me, $5,000. Like, I'm going to make sure that I use God's power and my power to get the job done. Okay. And this is why so many people say to me, they'll say, Carissa, speaking doesn't work for me. And of course, as a coach, I start to ask them questions. I'm like, really, tell me more. Give me an example. Right. But when after working with hundreds of women, when it comes to helping them grow their business through speaking, I always come back to this. When they say speaking doesn't work for me, I said, no, you don't have a proper system that works for you. You're going on stage, you're killing it, but what are you doing afterwards? I mean, goodness, I've seen people get hundreds of leads at an event, at a table. People have signed up for all their stuff, and then they didn't even follow up with those leads. They're like, I don't want to be pushy, right? And I'm like, oh, girl, you're not a very good CEO if you don't feel like you need to, talk about your products and your services all the time. Okay, that's what being an entrepreneur is. If you don't want to be pushy, go work for somebody else. Okay. So, if you don't have a system, you could possibly lose out on those leads. And guys, I'm not talking necessarily all about tech. A system is just like a process, right? So let's pretend that someone downloads scans your QR code and downloads the ebook. What do you do for the next 10 steps? How are you following up with them? How are you building reciprocity? How are you nurturing them? What is step one, step two, step three, step four, step five? And then, step six is when we invite them to a call. Step seven is a sales call. Step eight is cash flow coming in. Repeat. Okay. So if you don't have a system, you're winging it. And I'm telling you, that is not a very good business strategy either. Okay. So when you don't have a system, it doesn't work. But when you do, whoo, girl, one talk can feed your business for months. I used to chase all the speaking engagements, right? When I was a younger entrepreneur, younger coach in a sense, right? Like I have a baby entrepreneur phases with like what I mean by that, guys, is like you're a baby entrepreneur if you're 5 years or younger in your business. From 5 to like 15, think, I'm a teenager, and then 15 and above, you're like a vet, like in the business industry, right? So if you're a baby entrepreneur, you're within your first 5 years, right? I was chasing talk after talk, summit after summit, podcast after podcast. And I realized that unless I had a follow-up system, I wasn't doing jack shit with those things, right? None of the leads were really following through. But now, because I've learned how to speak properly on a stage, I've learned how to guide people, I've learned how to tell my story without looking like a victim, I've learned how to enroll people from a single stage, and I've learned how to nurture the audience until they buy. Whether it's a piece of merchandise, it's a course that I offer, or it's a coaching, program or a VIP day or something with me. One talk can feed your business. And now I don't have to talk every other day. I just have to be intentional with the talks that I give. I have to pick the right room and the right audience. And now I speak maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And guess what? It feeds my business all year round. I've walked off stages and turned 20 minutes into a $30,000 payday. I've turned 30 minutes into a $50,000 payday. My easiest one, I think I went over. I was supposed to do 30 minutes. I think I went 33 minutes, and I turned that into a $100,000 day. 10 new clients at 10,000 a piece. That was 100K. On top of that, all of the referrals, because I'm an amazing coach, right? And I was helping them get results. They referred and they hopped onto our retreats and they bought all the things. And so at the end of the day, I probably made over $250,000 from that one 33-minute talk. And it was not because the room was special, but because I prepared. Okay. Same room, same audience, same opportunity, different execution. When you looked at me as a speaker, there was 10 other speakers that day. Not a single speaker moved the audience. Not a single speaker offered anything up. Not a single speaker, including the event host, that was her event. She was speaking multiple times throughout the day, didn't even really get any clients from it. Same room, same audience, same opportunity, different execution. So let's go deeper, because even with all of this, if your identity is not aligned, you will still hold yourself back and you won't even know it. It's sneaky self-sabotage. So you'll get on a stage, you'll water down your message, you'll play it safe, you'll avoid making offers, you're going to worry about what people will think, and then wonder why nothing converts. Because you're not showing up as the authority in your industry. You need to be the GOAT, okay, in your industry. So you're showing up as the people pleaser, and people don't buy from uncertainty. They buy from conviction, confidence, and energy. So if you're sitting there thinking, I need a better script, I need a better slide, I need more practice, yeah, that may all be true, but it may not, right? When it comes to identity, you need a strong message, you need a clear offer, or not identity, but when it comes to, making speaking a business asset for you, you need a strong message, you need a very clear offer, a better system, and a more powerful identity. An identity rooted in, I'm the shit. I know what I'm doing. I have full 100% confidence in what I'm doing. And I believe in me and I believe in you. And let's do this shit together. Right? I honestly think that a powerful keynote speaker is someone who is confident, someone who is energized, someone who is clear with her message, who can move the audience, and is the GOAT in her industry. Even if she's not, she needs to believe she's the GOAT. Okay. So at the end of the day, your talk is either making you money or it's keeping you broke. There is no in between. And I know that might hit really hard for some of you, but it's the truth. I've seen it. You've seen it. So if you're ready to stop collecting compliments, playing small on stages and leaving money on the table, then it's time to do things differently this year because you don't need more stages. You need to become the speaker who can turn any stage into a money-making machine. And if you're like, okay, girl, I get it. I'm ready to fix this shit. Then I want to invite you to go deeper with me. Okay. I want you to go deeper with me. I recently hosted and owned the stage from Invisible to In Demand Speaker Workshop in Omaha. It was a 3-hour live training where I broke down how to craft up a 6-figure talk, how to structure your talk, how to position your offer, and how to actually convert from stage without even hard selling. I'm not even a hard seller, guys. I don't even like to pitch an offer from stage, but because of the way I create the talk itself, it's beautiful. I just create the talk and I weave in my authority. People will literally come to me after the stage. I get the tears, I get the hugs, I get the high fives, I get the, oh my God, you're amazing. And I get the, I think I want to work with you. 8 times out of 10, do I get, I need to work with you, or can I set up a call with you? Okay. And then, of course, my sales skills kick in after that. So here's the best part, you guys, right? Here's the best part. Because I just offered that workshop, of course, I recorded it. And the best part is that you can actually get the replay. It's only $33. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram. That's alpha_queen_Carissa, Karissa. So go follow me on Instagram and then send me the DM with the word in demand, and I will send you the link where you can get access to the replay. Okay. And if you're one of those female badass entrepreneurs who you're ready for the next level, you're meant for more, you're ready to get $100,000 from a single stage, you're ready to step into powerful visibility, you're ready for the next evolution as a leader, then please book a 15-minute clarity call with me. You know what? I'm not even going to say please, because like that's kind of begging energy. And I'm like, actually, no, like do yourself a favor and book a call, right? If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired in your business, if you're sick and tired of praying, wishing, hoping, and winging it every single day that business is going to turn around, then I think you owe it to yourself to book one of these calls. I think you need to start asking yourself, why haven't I booked a call yet with Carissa? Okay, because I promise you on 15 minutes or less, we're going to identify what's not working in your business and map out exactly what needs to shift in order for you to start becoming a successful financial time freedom entrepreneur. And of course, if this episode hit you, make sure you subscribe, leave me a review, and go drop your biggest takeaway over on my YouTube channel. I'd love, 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 love to hear your takeaways. I want to hear what shifted for you. I want to hear what landed for you. I want to hear about your speaking goals. Okay. And this was just part 2. Part 3, we're flipping the lens. We're going to talk about why most events fail and what real leaders do differently, because trust me, there is a lot to say about that topic. So more to come. So if you're thinking about hosting your own event, workshop, or retreat and want to make sure that you do not fail at this, and what I mean by that is put hundreds of thousands of dollars into your event and then don't really get any clients from it, and then all of your speakers do, you're definitely going to want to listen to the next episode, part 3. I can't wait to deliver it to you guys. I hope to see your name on the calendar. Please do yourself a favor and book that call with me. Subscribe, like, and share this podcast with your favorite friends who all want to be speakers as well. Bye for now, guys. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Iconic Leadership. If today's conversation activated something within you, make sure you subscribe and share this podcast with women who are ready to rise up too. Leaving a review helps this movement reach more women stepping into their power. This is Iconic Leadership.